reached the end. If you are still here, it's because everything else has failed. The mask of the imposter didn't save you. The good person exhausted you. The knower couldn't think you out. The fixer couldn't repair you. The protagonist couldn't narrate you to safety. The seeker couldn't finally arrive. There is nothing left to improve, nothing left to understand, nothing left to become. There is only this one final movement of the hemlock, the death of the one you thought you were. Not symbolically, not poetically, actually. In this episode, I am not going to give you another tool, another insight, another beautiful idea. This is where all of that dies. Let's feel where we actually are. One by one, the Hemlock Protocol has taken away your protections. The imposter showed you that the mask never made you safe. It only made you terrified of being seen. The good person showed you that your morality was often a defense against the rawness of being human. The knower showed you how knowledge can be armor, a way to stay above life so you never have to be pierced by it. The fixer revealed the hatred baked into self-improvement. The protagonist exposed the addiction to story, the need to always be the hero or the victim. The seeker disclosed spiritual materialism, the endless reaching for a future moment of completion. If these have actually landed for you, you're not standing on much anymore. So, what is left? Notice, the question, what is left, is already another defense. It is the mind trying to grab a new object, a new identity, a new ground. In this final movement, we are not going to build you a new ground. We are going to look at what is actually here when the ground dissolves. The void sounds dramatic, mystical, almost romantic. Your mind has turned it into a concept, an achievement. So let's strip away the romance. The void is not a distant spiritual state. It is the simple, raw, ordinary absence of a solid, separate me at the center of experience. It is the recognition that what you call I is not what you think it is. It is the loss of your position, not the loss of your body, not the loss of your memories, the loss of the imagined owner of all of that. And this, right here, is where almost everyone turns back, because everything in you has been trained to orient around me, my life, my path, my healing. Without that me, the entire map dissolves. You cannot be ahead or behind. You cannot win or fail. There is no main character left to save. This is the void. Not a black hole somewhere out there, but the absence of a solid center right here. Before we go any further, I want you to stop watching this as content. Do this with me now, not later. Now, pause any multitasking. Notice your breath, not as a technique, just notice. Breath is happening. Now, I'm going to ask a simple question, and I want you to feel the body's response, not think the answer. The question is, what if there is no one here to protect? Feel that. For many of you, there will be a flash of fear, tightness, a sense of no, no, no. Good. That is the edge of annihilation your nervous system has been circling for your entire life. The fear is not proof that the void is dangerous. The fear is the ego's alarm system screaming because its territory is being trespassed. Let the fear be here. No fixing, no soothing. Just notice. There is fear, and yet something is still here, quietly aware of fear. We are going to apply Socratic rigor one last time, right now, without going into thought or memory. Where do you locate I in your body? Is it behind your eyes, in your chest? Find the place where the sense of me is most concentrated. Now, feel into that area. Is that I Sandi? Is a sensation, a cluster of tensions? Can you find a stable, solid entity there? Or is it more like a vague contraction, a habit of tightening around a point? If that contraction relaxes even slightly, then does you disappear? Or is there still experience, still knowing, still awareness without that tightness? Look for the observer. There is seeing, there is hearing, there is feeling. Is there anywhere an object called the observer that you can find? Or Is observer just a label for this open, centerless knowing that is already happening? Every time you try to point to I, you find a sensation, a thought, a memory, but none of those is constant, none of those is stable. The I is a story told about a flow, and the story is a lie. Throughout this series, we've used the image of Kintsugi, a broken object repaired with gold. The suggestion was, your cracks are not your shame, they are where the light gets in. That was a useful metaphor for a while, but here at the end, even that breaks down. Because what if the gold was never just in the cracks? What if the entire object was always made of gold and the brokenness was only in the ceramic coating you put over it? What if the fractures, the traumas, the failures did not need to be integrated to make you whole? Because what you are in your essence was never actually damaged. The Hemlock Protocol was never about turning you into a more refined, more spiritual mask. It was about dissolving everything that obscures the obvious. You were never the porcelain. You were and are the gold. So what is left when the imposter, the good person, the knower, the fixer, the protagonist, and the seeker are all seen through? Nothing you can hold. Just this sensation, breath, sound, thought, feeling arising in what? You cannot see it, you cannot think it, you cannot own it. Because it is what is seeing, thinking, and owning. This is the void, the absence of an entity at the center and simultaneously the presence of everything. This is the part where another video would give you a practice. We are not doing that because the subtle message of every method is you are not there yet, and that message is the last mask of the seeker. Instead, I'm going to invite you to do nothing, not as a technique, as a stopping of strategies. For the next few minutes after this video ends, don't reach for another video, another idea, another explanation. Just let experience be exactly as it is. The hemlock was never a punishment. It was medicine, bitter medicine, for a terminal illusion. If something in you feels like it has died through this series, let it be dead. Do not resurrect it with new spiritual fantasies. Let the one who needed to be someone rest. What remains does not belong to this channel, to this teaching, to any lineage. It is simply what is. You do not need to hold on to it. You cannot lose it, because you were never separate from it. Thank you for being willing to die to who you thought you were. The Hemlock Protocol is complete.